Hi, Rasheeal Dixon here, and I am happy and ecstatic that you're able to join me for another installment of Mystical Thinking with yours truly, Rasheeal Dixon. I'm also the host of You Are God, a podcast that is all about metaphysics and the laws of mind. Check it out. Today, I thank you all for joining me. Today, we're going to talk about the topic of conscious creation. Conscious creation is a complicated but a simple topic at the same time. I know that statement might sound a little vague. How can something be complicated but yet simple at the same time? It's complicated and simple because it's based on the individual's level of understanding and their ability to fully get a grip on the laws of mind. It's just like any other subject that we humans encounter. I'm sure if you were to ask someone who was a master when it came to algebra and who was great at algebra, they would be like, it's a piece of cake. While on the other end, if you ask someone who looked at algebra as complicated and difficult, they would find it hard to understand, and anytime the subject of algebra is brought up, they might cringe. While the person who found algebra as a piece of cake and seen it as easy, it comes to them naturally like breathing, because they were able to grip the concept, get it, and understand it at their pace. The other person who didn't understand it, they just didn't grip the concept like how the one who understands it does. And the one who understands it probably also have other underlying things, like they must be interested in algebra and they have an interest in it. While the one who didn't get it probably don't even have an interest in it, because as human beings, if we have a natural interest or a natural affinity towards something, that interest and that affinity makes us move and get things done and do what we're supposed to do. So the laws of mind and conscious creation operates in a similar fashion. Conscious creation, in a simple explanation, is just basically being able to have control over the mental images that go through your mind daily. And you consciously, meaning you are aware and you are 100% in at knowing what you're doing and knowing what you're creating with your mind, your images, and everything that comes through your feelings and your emotion also, because the kingdom of heaven is within. And seek ye the kingdom first, and then all will come. So you have to consciously seek who you are. This is a mental discipline that the holiest of men and the majority still can't figure out. When you aren't consciously creating, meaning you aren't deliberately placing a mental focus on what you think and how you feel, then you're just allowing yourself to drift by in consciousness. I see this quite often where so many people just drift by in consciousness. When you allow yourself to just drift by in consciousness, you allow yourself to develop the thought atmosphere, also known as the race consciousness or the race thought. This allows you to think like the majority and like everyone else. And so far, we see where thinking like everyone else can lead to a person. It is never something that births individuality and develops a person's ability to freely think and be a person who can use their imagination to not just help themselves but also others. Because when you allow yourself to develop the race atmosphere, or the race thought I should say, you allow yourself to just go by. So the thought atmosphere, when you're around others and you're in a room, you ever had a feeling where you left it and it almost felt like you picked up their problems and you had a good vibe, and now your vibe is a little bit damaged and you're inside, you don't feel fun, you feel it all in your stomach. That's because when you have this race thought or this thought atmosphere, it soaks up and picks up everything else that everyone else is feeling, and you take on the problems of someone else and the problems of the world, and it lets you forget that the world is just a confirmation and a creation of your inner feelings. All right, so when you know that the world manifests based on your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions, and your conversations, this will free you, because it frees you by allowing you to know that how you feel and what you do in consciousness will always show up in your outside world, and the world only mirrors everything that you are saying to yourself on the inside and the feelings that you're having. When you're conscious of this, you will create based on a different level of understanding and a different level of awareness. You won't just drift by in consciousness like how so many allow themselves to do. When you start to think like this, you won't be like most who just take it as you go along. You won't just allow yourself to just drift by. You won't look at days of the week and say, it's going to be just another one of those days. When really, when you say that or when you claim that within your consciousness, all you're doing is saying that the day is not going to be the day that you like. It's not going to be one of your good days. And just one of those days implies to you that it's going to be a bad day. And so your subconscious mind will hear it and it will act out and act upon exactly what you give it. God is a creator. And if within consciousness is where you create, then it is there where you meet God. So I am shall be able to create based on whatever you believe as true. Hebrews 11:3 brings this point across. It says, through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which were seen were not made of things which do appear. Faith, in what you consciously claim, is based on what you impress within. Your word will always be the word of God. Because if I am is the name of God, then what you are can only be that. Words shape our world. And as I previously stated, the outside world is only a confirmation of the inner. So if we understand that this faith-based conviction creates, then what we consciously affirm will always show up on the outer. It will appear in the outer when consciously we keep on affirming it. Because what we claim inside will always show up in the outer world. You'll have some people who will fret and worry. They'll worry and fret themselves into a nervous breakdown or some other health ailment or some other problems, and they'll forget, and they probably won't even know that the outside world is only a confirmation of their inner. So the more they keep on fretting and worrying and seeing the problems in the world, the more the world keeps on giving them what they're affirming in consciousness. They're unaware that their own feelings and the state that they fell in is causing them great pain. When you get a grip, a firm grip of this mental concept and of this aspect of the laws of mind, then you will start to see the information that you will receive from all sources, and it will be great. You will download nothing but a great feeling and seek wisdom in you. And you will see the transformation. And Revelation 21:4 will start to make more sense, and you will be able to see how it can help you. When you get a firm grip of this concept, you'll be able to see the transformation that occurs. And you'll also be able to see and understand the true meaning of Revelation 21:4. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Remember, a revelation is when something is revealed to you. A revelation is a surprising and previously unknown fact, or some divine disclosure that a person gets that could create a sequence of events that leads them to a desired end. For an example, you somehow get a hunch of something, or you get an idea that is now revealed to you. And this idea or this hunch can lead to an end that will allow you to progress or allow you to help someone else. You ever found yourself sitting down and something was just revealed to you and they call it an aha moment or something? That's a revelation you have, dealing with some issue or something that can help you or allow you to help another. You see now, the revelation came to you, and it was an answer that you needed. And so that answer was what solved many problems. When you rush and worry, you clog the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind can only accept the dominant belief. This is why it's important to always remember that you must be still. Now, let's talk about this verse and how it improves your ability to consciously create and your ability to improve your manifesting, because we're always manifesting. But what we teach here is the ability to control the manifesting and manifest what you desire instead of manifesting the pains and the issues and the problems of life. Revelation 21:4 says, "And God shall wipe away the tears from all their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away." Tears symbolize emotion. Whenever a person is crying, whether tears of joy or tears of sadness, both represent a significant outpouring of emotion. Death and tears go hand in hand. So here we see the authors are speaking from a standpoint of sadness. The emotion of sadness is being touched on here. This emotion is embodied. It's embodied through the sadness that many display from their agony with life, their love life, their financial situation, and many other situations. The death here isn't a physical one, but one that constantly kills a person's spirit and their optimism towards life. When God wipes away the tears from your eyes, it's a metaphor showing that the person awakened, the person who is awakened to their conscious creation ability, will remove themselves from the mental sorrow that kills so many daily. No more pain means when you no longer accept the pain that will keep you from having any growth. If you had a toothache, would you sit down and accept that toothache and stay in excruciating pain, or would you go out and seek a dentist to prevent you from having that toothache? This pain that many have with life, they will sit down, they will accept it, and they won't look at it the same way how they would look at a headache or any other pain that they may face. Look at how many people accept their pain by always talking about it. Look at that. Thinking about it and planting seeds of pain, which are then watered by them constantly talking and discussing and thinking about the pain. And by them watering these seeds of pain, they get around groups of others who also talk about pain, and they talk about struggle, and they develop this whole thought atmosphere, and they develop this setting where it's a vibe where a bunch of pain and a bunch of struggle and stories of strife and life is hard, and it creates more problems. These seeds are watered and watered. Next, well, we already know what happens when you sit down and have these conversations of pain and strife. The subconscious mind is also present at the conversation, and it will do exactly what it is instructed to do, and the rest, well, that's history. When the former things are passed away, that means the former things and the way you used to think, feel, talk, act is gone. Be ye transformed by the renewing of the mind. So you have to always remember that your mind must not fall in that same zone that kept you stagnant and from having the growth that you were after. When the former things are truly passed away, it is a freeing spirit, and it is true liberation. When the former things are passed away, it's representing the old you, the one who would allow their mind to roam and let life just happen to them. That's the you that you must get away. So many people allow that to happen to them. You see the problem here? First, cleanse your mind with this simple affirmation: I shall prosper in all my interests. When you repeat this in your mind, leave it alone. You might find yourself having self-defeating thoughts. Breathing slows down. Things might not seem normal. Use this affirmation: I shall prosper in all my interests. And let me tell you exactly the science behind this and how the feeling will get invoked properly. Let's look at the science behind this that could shape us. From young, certain words have been embedded within us. In fact, language, and whatever your first language may be, it has helped shape you. In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was the Word of God. In the beginning, our words are our first ever possession. As babies, our parents are jumping for joy, and they are ecstatic when we say our first words. We then learn the language and the power of the spoken word as we go on with our lives. constantly learning and gathering different states of consciousness. Just look at how in the Bible, Jacob becomes Israel, Abram becomes Abraham, and the name just keeps on changing. Change is always consistent in the Bible. The name changed because these characters are different states. The same way that we go through our lives, constantly changing our way of thinking, changing our feelings, changing our ideas. That's the same that happened here with the names changing, because man will change the nature of who they are quite often. A caterpillar is conscious of what it is, and when it's time to become a butterfly, it knows that it must go in a cocoon in order to transform so the change can occur. An animal that hibernates is aware of the time of the year and the season. It then goes into a slumber and awakes at the right point in time. If we observe nature, we could see this metaphysical alchemy as L.W. Delorence defines it. It's all around us. As without, so within. As within, so without. As above, so below. Man is in a unique position because with proper application of these principles, he can create the change that he's after. The same way that the caterpillar knows when it's time to apply its instinct and its skills to create the cocoon, which then makes it become a butterfly. This now brings us back to this affirmation I said earlier, but now we're going to say it as day and night I prosper in all my interests. In the back of our mind, we are familiar with the word prosperity. We know that it means growth, go forward, advancement, etc. So if day and night you prosper in all your interests, and we also know that the day and the night are the two times of the day, correct? Laws of polarity are showing themselves here also in this affirmation. We know that this law is all around us. We can't escape it. It's a part of our lives. We will discuss the laws of polarity in later videos, so stay tuned. Knowing that day and night I prosper in all my interests, you are claiming it and you are covering a 24 hours span. Your mind also knows what your interests are, so you must make them clear to your mind without causing no type of mental confusion. If there is mental confusion, you might accidentally claim being sad. And if there is mental confusion, you might confuse the subconscious mind and create more negative issues. And the negative issues will be what you will prosper in. So this is why it's important to make it clear to your mind what are your interests and what you will prosper in. Yikes. So take this seriously. This is a mental discipline. Biblical metaphysics, it incorporates scientific concentration, which I will discuss in future videos. So for now, take this lesson in and absorb it. You can consciously create in small ways and then follow the leave it to God technique. This will always work when done correctly. I did a podcast episode that was designated completely for this technique, and it shows everything and outlines it. Just click the link below. In the description, I will have the podcast episode linked to this video. I also have a link below where I talk about conscious creation too on a podcast, and I also have that linked in the description below. So please, learn and know that you must create in small amounts. Don't get up after watching this video and think you're going to be a pro creator, a pro conscious creator, and you're just going to create and you're going to be great. It takes time and practice. Don't beat yourself up if you still haven't gotten it yet. Knowing this, you must always know that you have to practice this daily. It's a practice, and before you know it, it's going to become a habit, and it's going to be as natural to you as any bad habit or any habit that you had that you want to get rid of. But this you want to create. So you could consciously create and create as you go along, and it helps with your manifestations. I left a link below to the podcast, a whole episode I did on conscious creation, and also got more steps. So if you need more info, click that link below, and let's finish up. Remember to hit that subscribe button and subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to the newsletter at mindworthyinfo.com. This has been Rasheeal Dixon. I thank you all for watching. Until next video, goodbye.